Hey, I'm Paul, and here today I'm going to be talking to you about the Tomo Hydroshort from Firewire Designs. Now the Hydroshort is like a smaller wave version of the Hydronaut. So if you've seen the Hydronaut, that's a board for pretty solid, pretty good waves in that kind of big overhead kind of range. This one is designed for smaller conditions. We're talking in that 2 to 5 foot range. So it's not a groveler, I think that's pretty crucial. It's an everyday driver. It's an everyday surfboard for waves in that kind of 2 to 5 foot range, basically the stuff most of us surf most of the time. Overall outline of this board is really compact, pretty sleek all around, but one thing that you're gonna notice first of all, the kind of main feature of it, when you look at this board as an overall outline, is of course the nose. That's probably pretty different from most of the boards in your quiver. That's the Torpedo nose. What Tomo's trying to do here is just trying to kind of remove things that you don't need. Specifically, we're just talking about a point that basically is there on the end of the board. All it really wants to do is poke you in the eye. Well, that's gone. And the idea is to give this thing super maneuverability. That's gonna allow you to turn nice and tight in the pocket. No extra nose that you don't need on it. And it's that kind of minimalism and that attention to detail that's become a hallmark for Tomo's pretty radical but super high performance designs. Okay, let's think about that outline and that torpedo nose and how that translates. Tomo's been really heavily informed his designs with those planing holes and those kind of parallel rails. Think about other boards like the Cymatic with that really parallel rail. A little bit influenced by that through here. And you can just see how that makes a real kind of compact, pretty sleek outline all the way through the board. We go back into the tail through here, compared to the SKX, it's just pulled in a touch. We're not talking about a lot, maybe 1/4 of an inch or so more pulled in. That's given us a little bit more curve through here. And again, the idea with that is just to keep this thing super crisp in the pocket. Performance is basically where we're always heading with Tomo's designs. Let's have a look at the bottom contours going on here. Quite a lot going on, and just that refinement process still continuing for Tomo. We've got that quad inside single concave. Once again, that's a favorite of his. A single concave through here, and then we've got a quad concave inside that single concave. I just said concave a lot of times in a row, which I'm pretty conscious of. All you really need to know is that's giving you so much lift. That's getting that water through the board. That's giving that board a lift and just making this thing absolutely fly. With that pulled in tail that we mentioned earlier, that little increase in the tail rocker, and of course these little channels that are going through that tail, right out the tail of the board, that's gonna give you that grip to deal with that lift, and the whole thing just comes together to make this electric. When we talked about the rocker, we mentioned that Tomo likes that kind of continuous curve through the middle of the board, doesn't like too much rocker-wise. It's just in front of that front foot area where these concaves start, and you can just pick them up here and then really start to just get that water, and that is just giving so much lift and so much speed throughout the tail of the Hydroshort. This board really just wants to come alive in those slightly underpowered conditions, head high-ish range, whatever you kind of surfing, that everyday stuff. This is the high performance go-to model if you just really want extra spark to your surfing. It's a pretty low rail throughout there from Tomo, as we mentioned with epoxy. Don't want that too much buoyancy. You do want to be able to bury that rail. So with that in mind, it's pretty low rail, just keeping that foam off the rails of the board, keeping it more towards the middle. In terms of construction, this one's actually built with the helium blank. So that's an ultra light helium foam. And what that does is just give this thing that little extra pop and flex as well. When you bury it, it really does want to respond super buoyant. So that ultralight foam just giving this thing a little bit of extra electricity in life as well. The whole thing comes together for a pretty radical design in terms of departure from some of the conventions. The overall package is just a board that really wants to surf, and it's a great go-to board for everyday conditions. This is the Tomo Hydroshort review, all wrapped up. You can see a beautiful, sleek, clean looking board, different looking nose. This thing absolutely flies in that 2 to 5 foot range. You're gonna really enjoy surfing this. Don't forget to subscribe to our Akewatu channel. Check out all the new reviews as they drop. I'm Paul, saying, as ever, to enjoy yourselves, it's later than you think.